Laura is collecting mussels on the beach, planning to cook them for dinner. But her husband, Martin, surprises her by saying they have to go to a fancy business dinner instead. She doesn't want to go, but she agrees. When they get ready, she picks a simple outfit, but Martin insists she wear a backless dress. At the party, they don't stay long. Instead, they go home, eat a snack, and share a quiet moment with soft music playing. Strangely, the song is from the scary movie The Shining, which makes things feel a little unsettling. The next morning, Martin's strict and controlling behavior becomes clear. He wants everything in the house to be perfect, towels folded just right, cans lined up neatly. Whenever Laura forgets, he reminds her. He hasn't hurt her yet, but it's clear he wants to control everything. Later, Martin walks to the pier and talks to their neighbor, John. John says he saw Laura looking at the ocean from their house and compliments Martin on having the best home on the beach. They talk about boats, and Martin says he would love to sail, but Laura is afraid of water because she almost drowned as a child. John offers to take them sailing one day. Martin tells Laura about his talk with John. But suddenly, his mood changes. He asks if Laura let John inside the house. She says no, but Martin doesn't believe her. He gets jealous and slaps her. Then, as if nothing happened, he apologizes and talks about John's sailing invitation.
He asked us to go sailing tonight. I'll be right there, princess. I know how you feel. We can't conquer our fears by running away. I think I'll run into town.
It becomes clear that Laura isn't just unhappy, she feels trapped. The next day, while Martin is gone, Laura cleans the house and stares at the ocean, feeling hopeless. That evening, Martin comes home with gifts, flowers and a red dress, as if that will fix everything. That night, the same scary song from The Shining plays again. But their relationship is broken, and Laura feels no love. Laura wants to work full-time at the library, so she makes Martin a nice meal and asks if she can start working. But he refuses, saying she should focus on their home. He even brings up an old complaint, how she once served dinner late. What he ignores is the reason why. That day, Laura's mother had died, and she wanted to go to the funeral, but Martin wouldn't let her. Tension rises between them. Martin accuses Laura of making excuses because she doesn't want to go sailing. Before they leave, he tells her something chilling: "We will always be together. Nothing can separate us."
We will always be together. Nothing can keep us apart.
That night, on the boat, the waves get rough, and Laura grows nervous. Suddenly, a sail comes loose. Martin and John rush to fix it, but the boat tips, and Martin falls into the water. When he climbs back on, Laura is gone. The Coast Guard searches for her, but they only find her floating life jacket.
Laura!
A funeral is held, and Martin acts like a grieving husband. But Laura isn't dead. She had secretly taught herself to swim, preparing for this moment. When Martin was distracted, she jumped into the water and swam to a nearby buoy. That was the night I died, she thinks. And the night a new person was born. Someone who used to fear the water but learned to survive. Someone who knew there would be one moment when he wasn't looking. She had planned everything. The second she hit the water, she swam to shore, ran back home, and grabbed a bag she had packed long ago. Now, she was free. Without thinking twice, Laura cut her hair short, put on a wig, and took off her wedding ring. But she made a big mistake. Instead of throwing the ring away properly, she just dropped it in the toilet and tried to flush it. If she had been more careful, that ring would be at the bottom of the ocean by now. Going back to the house at all was another risky move. She was taking a big chance, and if she made one wrong step, Martin would find her. But she managed to leave town safely. She bought a bus ticket, sat quietly, and tried to blend in. During the ride, she started talking to another passenger. They asked her questions, but she didn't tell them the truth. Instead, she pretended she was talking about someone else, a woman who had once been in love, but whose husband slowly became cruel. It had happened so gradually that she didn't realize it until it was too late. The passenger soon understood that the story was about Laura herself. They looked disappointed, as if they thought she should have fought back instead of running away. But Laura didn't say anything. She did what she had to do. When she arrived in Iowa, she rented a small house and started a new life. For the first time in a long while, she felt safe. As she looked out the window, she accidentally locked eyes with someone outside, a neighbor she would soon meet. Meanwhile, Martin was struggling. Without Laura, he had no one to control, no one to boss around. He felt lost, and his frustration grew. Back in Iowa, Laura was getting used to her new life. One day, while picking apples from a tree, she ran into the neighbor she had seen before. He surprised her by saying they could make a trade. If she wanted the apples, she'd have to bake him a pie. She quickly shut him down, not interested in making deals. Later, the same neighbor showed up at her door, returning the apples she had left behind. He apologized for scaring her earlier and introduced himself as Ben, a drama teacher at the local university. He asked for her name and where she was from, but she didn't answer. Instead, she quickly ended the conversation. Before leaving, Ben invited her over for dinner. While Laura was settling into her new life, Martin got a letter at work. It was from someone at the YMCA, sending their condolences about Laura's death and mentioning the swimming lessons she had taken. At first, Martin was confused. Laura couldn't swim. But as he read more, he realized the truth. She had secretly learned without telling him. His confusion turned to anger. How had she tricked him for so long? If she had lied about swimming, what else had she lied about? He rushed home, tore through the house, and searched for clues. That's when he found it, her wedding ring, still in the toilet. And in that moment, everything made sense. Back in Iowa, Laura decided to accept Ben's dinner invitation. But Ben accidentally burned the pot roast, so they just talked instead. It was a nice evening, until he mentioned hearing that she was looking for a job. Right away, her guard went up. She became defensive, asking how he knew that. She still didn't trust anyone. When he asked her name again, she finally gave one, Sarah Waters. Meanwhile, Martin was determined to find her. He went to the nursing home where Laura's mother was supposed to have died, but what he discovered shocked him. Her mother was still alive. She had been moved to another place under the claim that she was going to live with family. Now, Martin knew the truth. Laura had planned everything carefully. Back in Iowa, Ben started to suspect that Sarah Waters wasn't her real name. When he called out to her using it, she didn't react. But instead of pushing her for answers, he admitted that he liked her and wanted to know her better. Laura wasn't interested. She shut him down, not willing to let her guard down again. She was done trusting people. Later, Laura made a phone call, not to talk, but just to listen. On the other end was her mother's voice. She wasn't ready to see her yet, but she was making plans. Meanwhile, Martin wasn't giving up. He hired a private investigator, offering $10,000 to find Laura. While he continued his search, Laura and Ben ran into each other again at a town parade. This time, Laura finally opened up. She admitted she had come to Iowa to see her mother but hadn't visited yet because she wasn't sure if it was safe. Laura's instincts were right. Martin had already found out where her mother was staying. One evening, Ben surprised her by taking her to the university theater. He put on a special performance just for her, making her laugh for the first time in a long while. After their night out, they went back home, and their connection grew stronger. But as things became more intimate, Laura suddenly panicked. The memories of her past rushed back, making her feel trapped. She begged Ben to leave, her voice filled with fear. Realizing she wasn't ready, he didn't push her and left. The next day, Laura found Ben and apologized. She admitted she was afraid she might never be able to rebuild her life. Everything still felt uncertain. Wanting to help, Ben came up with a plan to disguise her so she could finally visit her mother. With her appearance changed, Laura made her way to the nursing home. The moment her mother heard her voice, she recognized her instantly and felt relieved. Laura reassured her that things would be okay. She also talked about Ben and how different life had been since leaving Martin. Sensing her daughter's fear, her mother reminded her how strong she had always been. She told Laura that no man, not even Martin, could take away who she was. Laura just had to believe in herself. It was a comforting moment, but danger was still close. Martin had tricked the nursing home staff into calling him if Laura ever showed up, pretending he wanted to surprise her. Laura barely escaped before he arrived. Not knowing how close she had been to being caught, she rushed home, excited to tell Ben about her visit. Meanwhile, Martin kept digging for information. His obsession grew worse, and when he found out Laura might be involved with someone, a drama teacher named Ben, he felt betrayed. Determined to find her, he pressured the staff for more details. Laura's mother, unaware of the danger, accidentally told him where Ben worked. Martin acted fast. He grabbed a random man at the university, demanding to know where Ben was. Even though it wasn't Ben, it still led him in the right direction. He followed Ben to a carnival, and that's when he finally saw Laura. Later that night, Laura and Ben went back to her house. They planned to meet again after she freshened up. But as soon as she stepped into the bathroom, something felt wrong. Her towels were arranged exactly the way Martin used to place them. Her stomach twisted. This wasn't a coincidence. She carefully checked the kitchen cabinets. Everything looked normal, but the uneasy feeling wouldn't go away. Just then, Ben arrived and startled her. He excitedly told her about a surprise and took her outside for a romantic picnic. For a while, she let herself relax. But when she returned home, the fear returned even stronger. She turned on the radio, only to hear a song that made her shiver. It was one Martin always played. Then, she noticed water spilling from the bathtub. Right after that, the fire alarm went off. It was too much. Panicked, she checked the towels again, then the cabinets. Everything was arranged just like Martin used to do. And then, from the shadows, a voice broke the silence. He was there. He had been inside the whole time.
Sarah?
A knock on the door interrupted the moment. It was Ben. He sensed something was wrong and asked to come in, but Laura, terrified, insisted she was too tired. Martin watched, waiting for the right moment. Ben hesitated, then pushed his way inside. But before he could react, Martin stepped forward. Holding out Laura's wedding ring, he made it clear, he had been in control all along. Laura, shaking with fear but refusing to give in, saw her chance. She fired a shot, not at Martin, but to startle him. The distraction worked. She grabbed the gun and aimed it at him. Martin, always manipulative, tried to stay calm. He told her he couldn't live without her, and wouldn't let her live without him either.
Nothing could keep me away.
But Laura was done being controlled. Keeping the gun steady, she called the police and reported an intruder in her home.
It's giving the police, hurry please. We just killed an intruder.
Just when it seemed over, Martin made one last move. He reached for his own gun and pulled the trigger, only to realize it was empty. A moment later, he collapsed. His reign of terror was finally over. Laura had saved herself, just like her mother always told her she could. And at last, she was free.
Don't forget to like this video and subscribe to our channel. Thanks for watching.